scoured the internet and found what you had to say. And now, I shall expose you. Hello, beautiful people. I'm the Luschmaster. Welcome to my channel. Oh yeah, of course. Subscribe. This is everything you had to say about Jessica Pearson from Suits. Son, your ego is writing checks your body can cash. I'm crying. Jessica was a boss. I don't respond to threats. I make them. The clients are looking for money. We are looking for money. The insurance company is looking to keep the money. It is always about the money. You can have my faith. What you're not getting is my money. Don't raise your voice. Improve your argument. When you work with tigers, they will take a swipe at you once in a while. I don't want you on my side. I want us to be on the same side. I like to smile at people who don't like me. You're not calling the shots here. I am. I will slap the taste out of your mouth. She treats Lewis like crap every time she gets a chance. Then when he's upset and wants to leave, she will dangle a carrot in front of him to stay. I did not enjoy her as a character. She takes no responsibility and has other people do her dirty work. Then when things go south, she gets mad. Her ego always gets the best of her. I don't really like Jessica. I don't hate her, and I understand a lot of the things she does that might make someone not like her, but something about her I just don't like. It's most likely something about the actress, actually. She tried to push Harvey to let a client file for bankruptcy, destroying the client's dream and the jobs a lot of people without a blink of an eye. She puts herself above everyone else, even if that means destroying other people's dreams just so that she can keep her job. I don't understand why people like her. I didn't like the Jessica character, but I wanted her to stay in the show longer for sure. Although now she has her own show, which is great. Jessica is not the perfect person, but she definitely held Pearson Spector Lit together. Things were never the same after she left. She definitely changes for the better because she stood up for Mike, whereas in the beginning, she couldn't stand him and wanted to fire him several times. In my personal opinion, she redeemed herself when she saved Mike's career. Without a flying in from Chicago to face the Bar Association, the show would have ended, in my opinion. Jessica was one of those characters in the show who didn't get much of the spotlight, but's equally crucial in maintaining the story's balance. She was a bold and courageous woman. I really liked the way she led the firm and always ensured that both Harvey and Lewis remained friends. She was a great leader and also played a crucial part in the development of Mike's and Rachel's careers. She stood strong at the harshest of hours and gave confidence to Harvey and the others. Her act of sacrificing herself for Mike's entry into the bar was a true depiction of her leadership skills, as this was something which was not even Harvey was ready to do. Then her giving up her position and power for Jeff was also very selfless and admirable. Her witty one-liners were something which I felt were undernoticed at times. She also had some awesome comebacks and a very satisfying sense of humor. I really felt sad for her at the end of season 7 when she was left helpless in Chicago. For a woman of a caliber to resign as the head of the biggest law firms in New York and then go to a different city and face these problems felt really heartbreaking for me as a viewer. Her role in the firm was vital for everyone's performance, and without her, Pearson Spector Lit didn't have the same essence as before. I would also like to praise the actor Gina Torres for portraying Jessica so effortlessly and elegantly. Honestly, when she left the show, it didn't feel the same. No one lived up to her leadership, especially when Harvey and Lewis were by themselves. They seemed like children playing grown ups, and that's not to drag the characters but to prop Jessica up. It really emphasized what she has to deal with as the leader and how well she managed them. She is the best. The show suffered so much when she left. There were other factors as well, but that was a huge one. When others throw a tantrum, it's usually funny, but Jessica throwing a tantrum is scary, like when she smashed the vase in her office. Jessica. Well, all I have for her is respect. Respect and respect. She had to deal with Mike Harvey Lewis and the rest of the antagonists, and boy, did she do it beautifully. So we can all agree that the only actual non-hated character is Jessica, even if the show kept trying to make her sound like the bad guy. All she did was protect her firm, her employees, and do whatever she could to work on her career. Damn. Jessica could be my mommy 6 weeks from Sunday. Jessica portrayed the height of the Pearson and Company law firm as managing partner, while following managing partners were shown their limits or infancy. It's been nagging at the back of my head, but I always thought no other lawyer became quite as formidable as Jessica Pearson when it came to running the firm. Harvey as managing partner felt more like it was something everyone expected him to be. But I thought it was right to have him step down as that role didn't suit him. Lewis Litt as managing partner felt thrusted on, but eventually it seemed like he could be more in control of his impulses and become more of the managerial type. By the end of the show, end of season 9, it seemed like Lewis was just starting to blossom into the managing partner role that we could look forward to. But of course, as the newly named partners claimed, they're needed there to keep him in check in case he goes haywire, which I bet you would occur earlier on, but could have become much better down the line. Just a thought that came raking in my head, and would have loved to see how composed Lewis Litt would have been given more tenure. It's true what they say about true beauty. Black don't crack. I love how Jessica effortlessly puts Harvey in his place whenever it's needed. Also, yes, her spirit of sacrifice was great. I loved her interactions with Mike as well. Something that I've always thought captured exactly what she is. She was playing chess while everyone was playing checkers. She was always 2 steps ahead of everyone, and her relationship with Harvey was one of my favorites to watch. Her demeanor, the way she carried herself, walks, talks, and character make a crucial leader carrying a godlike feel while being humble and being 7 steps ahead of situations. How would somebody emulate that? I had always loved how they filmed Jessica throwing the case file to Harvey. He doesn't even touch it and it directly lands in the hands of Mike, just as Jessica forbids Harvey to do that. Jessica is the only lawyer who can outmatch Harvey. We have seen this in more than one occasion, how Jessica responds to threats. And in the first episode itself, Harvey threatens her, kind of, to give him the promotion, and she's just smiling. Harvey looks like a rookie in the presence of Jessica. I want to see Mike and Jessica video where Mike is just uncomfortable for 10 minutes straight. LOL. Jessica is the epitome of the alpha woman. I remember how she described Norma as what looks like the mummified remains of a legal secretary. Gosh, I love Jessica. Watch Pearson. It's only 1 season, but it shows her vulnerable side along with her usual self. Her intentions are pure, but the methods are usually questionable. Jessica is my favorite character, but I actually think I'm biased because she's gorgeous and elegant to me, and I can't think straight when she's on the screen. I like her. She's classy and cutthroat at the same time. She's my favorite, and I can't believe how underappreciated she is. Jessica is like the only person who Harvey can't wear his screw you attitude to. And let's just not forget, if it weren't for Jessica, there would be no Harvey. She definitely is an icon. She's one of the best characters I have seen on television. A power and respect that just translate through the screen. Upon rewatching, I just like her more and more. I know a couple people that worked on the set of Suits, and they told me that Gina in real life has the same presence as Jessica when she walks in a room. I also like Jessica. Her serious story in the firm was endearing. At times, she was put as a villain by her senior and retired partners. She's obviously essential for the firm, but her skills are pretty much taken for granted. We don't see her often being an awesome lawyer, just as with Lewis. Her romantic arc with Jeff Malone felt very superficial for me. Just as with her, we never really see him being awesome. When he was presented in season 4 as the guy who could easily beat up Lewis, my expectations were very high. But then he's put as the borderline incompetent lawyer that never does anything cool at the firm. Her ending in the series felt more to me as the writers pushing her out than anything else. It felt forced. No wonder her spin-off didn't work, as she ended up being a completely different character. Not even a lawyer. Jessica just oozes class and sexiness. It's so funny how everyone was both intimidated and attracted to her. She was the best character in Suits, after Harvey. She kept Lewis and Harvey in control. She kept the firm in control. She was always like a mother to Harvey. She always loved her partners as her family. She was everyone's favorite. I love Jessica's character and her chemistry with Harvey. She's like Harvey's mentor and big sister. They could use her as the bat, didn't realize how skinny she actually is. Literally everything about her, except her fashion sense, ticks me off. From the way she's biased towards Harvey, to the way she treats Lewis, to the anecdote about her pranking her classmate because she was scared about getting a job, she is probably more vile than Hardman to me. So basically, Jessica let Dominic get fired for no reason. I get the whole point of the situation was to prove she was top dog and could outplay both Harvey and Lewis, but letting Dom get caught in the crossfire just cause seems so pointlessly cold and cruel. I'm not saying that she's a bad lawyer or businesswoman because she's good, well, great at her job, or that she's evil, but she's a pretty bad person. She's power hungry, ruthless, biased, and selfish. She seems to think every decision she makes is either good or rational because it's her decision. She claims to care for the firm. By this, she only cares for the firm as an extension of her power, not the employees, aside from Harvey. In a way, she's a lot like Tywin Lannister, except that Tywin actually seems to care about or respect some of his subordinates. Kevin Lannister, Adam Marbrand, Lean Payne, and his context somewhat justifies his personality. Though, to be frank, Tywin does a lot more brutal stuff than simply protecting shady companies. I used to think she was amazing until season 2, episode 6, where Judge Ella Foreman makes her admit that she humiliated her on purpose back in college. She said she wasn't sorry even though she did something truly horrible just to get ahead. I think that's the definition of evil. Someone who will destroy anyone innocent for personal gain. My opinion of her during that episode just went from 49th floor penthouse suite down to personnel and maintenance. I like Jessica's character as a boss. She didn't rub it in or demean Mike like any other boss would. She simply pointed out his mistakes, naive and soft, and let it go. Jessica is the main boss, and Harvey and Lewis are their two attack dogs and mini bosses. Jessica was excellent, and the show is far worse without her. They didn't even fall into the gender race card that often with her. It was just that Jessica was a smart, tough lawyer. You could never doubt for a second that she could have risen to that position of leading a premier law firm in New York City. Yeah, I really like that Jessica's power came from the fact that it was Jessica and not because she was a black female that writers pushed into the show for some political reasons. I miss Jessica's boss lady manner and fabulous wardrobe. Jessica stole the show, if you ask me. It feels extremely empty without her. The writers did a great job with a strong female character and never pushed her down our throats. She was just great. I feel with Donna and Samantha, the agenda is to replace the strong female presence that Jessica left behind, but they could have done it better. I'd prefer a spin-off with a younger Jessica as a period drama, to be quite honest. A show about a young black female lawyer in the 1980s, New York City, would be super interesting. Jessica's expressions are exceptional. I love how she twists her lips and plays with her eyes while at the same time bamboozling her opponents. If Jessica was in Game of Thrones, she would have gotten the throne in 2 seasons, given her dragons, and she'd take over Westeros and Essos in 1 season. Jessica Pearson is the OG woman who avenges the suppression of women since the beginning of time. Some say she's ruthless, but I think she has courage and a strong integrity. Jessica Pearson didn't go to college. This one's been buzzing around my head for a while, so I thought I'd share. Spoiler disclaimer, this theory relies on evidence from the season 1 finale and beyond. You have been warned. Quick recap. So a driving or tension hook of the series is that Mike didn't graduate from college, let alone Harvard Law, and eventually this is going to come back to him. As much as we love seeing Harvey and Mike being awesome in the courtroom or the conference room, we know that everything they do could eventually be called into question because of Mike's fraud. At the moment, Jessica Pearson is the most dangerous keeper of this information. She knows and has made it clear that if she can manage it, she wants Mike gone. While it might be that Mike's loyalty and risk-taking during Hardman's coup will be enough to forge an alliance between them, I think there's another twist coming. I think Mike, or perhaps Harvey, will discover that Jessica never went to college either. Here's the evidence. Trevor doesn't tell Jessica that Mike never went to college. He only says Mike never went to law school. Jessica checks out his law school credentials and finds out they're solid, but decides to do what sounds like a very thorough check of his undergraduate education as well. She might just being thorough, of course, as a woman in Jessica's position certainly would be, but she did it herself as though she strongly suspected to find something compromising there. If his law school checked out against allegations, why keep digging? Her treatment of Mike post-discovery. Jessica decides to take him out to dinner anyway, and she finds she gets it about him. Then she goes to Harvey and demands his immediate removal. Is it possible she's sympathetic because she understands how challenging circumstances can lead to bad choices, but furious because exposure of Mike's fraud might lead to exposure of hers as well? Parallels between Jessica and Mike. In her dinner with Mike, they clearly find common ground in their level of intelligence. You just think everyone around you is stupid, not smart. At the end of that episode, she knows. Jessica is hinted at having a similar photographic memory to Mike. I don't need a computer. Furthermore, she's fought for everything she has, as is evident from her clash with the judge all in. She wasn't above some underhanded tactics to get ahead, even back in law school. She calls Mike the best of both of us when speaking to Harvey, maybe with Jessica's intelligence and scrappiness and Harvey's morals and drive. Jessica is suspiciously young looking. This was the subject of Mike's faux pas in She Knows, Black Don't Crack. That was hilarious, so it might just be the writers lampshading the actors' real ages. But it's interesting that Jessica and Harvey are markedly younger than all the other senior partners, except, of course, Lewis. Spoiler. That's easy enough to hand wave, but the fact that Jessica is also supposedly one of the founding partners of the firm? Yes, Daniel noted there used to be others. Still, Jessica has been a founding partner for 5 years since removing all the others. Seems like she should have looked around half his age when she made founding partner. I recall Jessica acknowledging how unlikely her position is for her age, gender, and race, but one of those three, she can only be lying about one. So, my personal, just for fun theory is that Jessica went straight to law school from high school and lied about her credentials and age. I like to think Mike will figure this out just as Jessica prepares to get rid of him for good. And it will put them in a more permanent Mexican standoff that will eventually fade into a close friendship. If you have gotten to this part of the video, comment the pen emoji. See you again next time. Tra la la.